it's a big negative for them. So as we sit here discussing accessibility, it's not just about what we understand to be the product of innovators. It is putting together our recollection of how far we have come, what the innovators have done, the capital they have employed to ensure that devices like this one are accessible. That persons with disabilities are taken care of when it comes to technology. But at what cost? They put in their capital. How many would afford that technology? And we do appreciate that for them, perhaps it's not just a profit-driven venture, much as they want returns as well. So we must continue to ask ourselves, what are we doing as governments? What are we doing as development partners, as state and non-state agencies to support that deficit in budgetary allocation and the ability of those who are not able to access those devices and technology, to access programs that are ever-changing, at a subscription that is back-breaking, and at the end of the day, they are all left behind. Can we, in those situations, talk of equality and non-discrimination? Can we, in those situations, say that we have accorded each one of our citizens accessibility as the Constitution demands, as the UN Convention demands? Granted that the 2025 Act goes further to provide incentives for persons with, or rather reliefs for persons with disabilities so that they can meet their disability costs and incentives to employers who provide reasonable accessibility. And I must really commend those of our employers who've made it possible for us to have devices and accessible technology that makes our work easier. And of course, we must appreciate the fact that each one of us has a hand in it. The Act also goes further to provide reliefs even for parents with children with disabilities. And it goes on to ensure that any employer who grants, or rather who provides reasonable accessibility, reasonable accommodation to their employees with disabilities also enjoy certain tax reliefs on account of the costs that they incur. In conclusion, let me ask each one of us seated here today to ask themselves one simple question. If I had a disability like so-and-so, like so-and-so, like so-and-so, how would I want to be treated? What would I want as a hand given me by those in government and in other non-state agencies to ensure that what I cannot afford by way of technology, I nonetheless get it? I know the National Fund did quite a bit to ensure that we had computers or laptops given to university students as far back as, I can't remember the year. I think Senator Mora remembers when we did mobilize equipment for students in Kenyatta University. And recently, we had the privilege of enjoying the support of one of our development partners also in getting us 20 laptops for third-year students in Kenyatta and University and University of Nairobi Law School. May I challenge you, and perhaps by the end of this conference, maybe you could give me 20, 30, 50 addresses of those who are willing to contribute. Just one laptop per agent, per agency. And we know which hands to place those laptops on. You can give that to Irene or to myself or to Mbura, he is here. Julius Mbura is one of us, a very hardworking young man with visual disability, and many others with whom the Enable team has benefited a great deal. And let me stop there by thanking the Enable team, the staff, the secretariat, who worked tirelessly to ensure that our agenda is driven with the resolve as we see in the attendance of this conference today. You will then forgive me for taking more than the 5 to 10 minutes that I was given, and I believe it was for good cause. But thanks very much, and welcome to you all. Enjoy the conference.
Thank you so much, Dr. Laibuta, and thank you everyone for your patience. I know we are running behind, but we promise to catch up. So a few more speakers, and we are off to a tea break. So it's with great pleasure I invite our next speaker, Dina, who's the Director for Strategic Partnerships and Innovations at the MasterCard Foundation. MasterCard Foundation has been instrumental over the years. I still remember that Inclusive Africa was just an idea when they came on board 6 years ago. So we're very humbled and grateful to have you join us here today. Welcome, Dina.
Thank you, Irene. So actually my full name is Randena Sul Dina Malala Budnirina Marie Madeleine. I know it's very long. It's from Madagascar. And as a visual description, while my name is very long, I'm rather petite, so they had to help me with the mic. Yeah, I'm petite. I have big hair. I always say that my hair is as big as my heart. So, Honorable Cabinet Minister, Secretaries, Honorable Senator, Honorable Judge, Principal Secretaries present, and dear partners and young leaders, distinguished guests, on behalf of all of us at MasterCard Foundation, I bring you warm greetings. And I join Enable in welcoming you to the 6th Inclusive Africa Conference. What a joy and an honor to be here in Nairobi, a city that has become the beating heart of this powerful event. But it is more than an event. It is a moment to reflect, to reconnect, and to choose bold action for future rooted in dignity, equity, and opportunity for all. To our partner, Enable, thank you. Your leadership, your vision, and your unwavering commitment to digital accessibility are changing lives across the continent. To the young people, policymakers, entrepreneurs, advocates, and allies in the room, your courage, your creativity, and your leadership are shaping the Africa we need. We are here not simply to speak, but to listen, to learn, and most of all, to act. At Mastercard Foundation, our journey continues to be shaped by a powerful question. How do we ensure that every young person, every single one, has the opportunity to learn, to thrive, and to lead? This question led us to an undeniable truth. There can be no opportunity without inclusion. At the foundation, inclusion is not a program. It's not a checklist. It's a mindset, a way of seeing, a way of working. It calls on all of us not just to open door, but to redesign the entire space so everyone can thrive. When we launched Young Africa Works, our strategy, we set a bold goal to enable 30 million young people to access dignified and fulfilling work. And we made two important commitments, that 70% would be young women and 1.5 million would be young people with disabilities. Today, we're halfway there. 16.5 million young people are in work, and over 92,000 young people with disabilities have been supported, with nearly 80% of them young women. Behind every number is a story, like Faith, a software engineering scholar here in Kenya who advocates for disability inclusion and mental health. Like Divine from Rwanda, supporting children with disabilities and using digital platforms to spread healing and hope. Nina, founder of Disability Support Initiative in Ghana. They're not waiting to be included. They're building a world where exclusion is not even an option. However, the journey is far from over. Today, 61% of youth with disabilities in Africa are still out of school. They are twice as likely to be unemployed. And their exclusion costs African economy 3 to 7% of GDP. But where there is challenge, there is opportunity. And this is why we anchored our disability inclusion strategy on 3 pillars. Pillar number 1, capacity accompaniment. By embedding disability inclusion in everything we do, we build knowledge, systems, and confidence across our partners. Through initiatives like We Can Work, it's led by youth with disabilities themselves. We're scaling this capacity continent-wide. Pillar number 2, elevating voices. By making sure that young people with disabilities don't just participate, but they lead, whether through entrepreneurship, advisory groups, or policy platforms, our approach is clear: nothing about the young people without the young people. Pillar number 3, building enabling environments. By addressing the systemic barriers that lock young people out, we're investing in inclusive education, digital accessibility, and one of the most game changer, access to assistive technology. Why assistive technology is so important? Over 2.5 billion people worldwide require one or more assistive technology products. And in many low-income countries, including in Africa, access to assistive technology is estimated to be as low as 3%. This is not a side issue. This is central to education, to employment, and full participation. And it is an opportunity to support African entrepreneurs to develop affordable assistive technology, to strengthen the supply chains and build an African assistive technology workforce, and partner with innovators to scale inclusive solutions. Because in today's digital world, access to assistive technology is access to possibility. And when young people can access what they need, they don't just succeed, they lead. They change systems, they change the narrative. We're already seeing it. In Ethiopia, where the University of Gondar is becoming a center for inclusive education, with young people influencing that change. In Ghana, where inclusive entrepreneurship is reshaping the MSME landscape. In Kenya, where young leaders like Julius is advancing digital accessibility and shift perceptions across the continent. And across our network, where young alumni, engineers, teachers, advocates, and entrepreneurs are building change. So what could this continent look like if we scale digital accessibility together? I can say for a fact that millions of young people with disabilities would no longer be locked out, but leading changes in their classroom, coding labs, or in their communities. African entrepreneurs will be building inclusive solutions, not just for Africa, but for the world. And we would witness a profound shift in mindset where diversity is not something to accommodate, but a strategic advantage that drives shared prosperity. We believe all of that is within reach, but we can't do it alone. This is about all of us, standing shoulder to shoulder. At the Mastercard Foundation, we stand with young innovators who are not just imagining solutions, but get the resources to build them for others to rise. We stand with government that embed inclusion into every policy, every budget, every classroom, and every corner of public life. Stand with business that build accessibilities as part of their DNA, not making it an afterthought, but recognize that it's the foundation for innovation and growth. We stand with community that choose empathy and belonging over stigma. And we stand with individuals who don't just open doors, but hold them open, and who just don't make space, but share power, amplify others, and redefine what inclusive leadership looks like. So today, I invite you to leave here with a deeper commitment for our continent, a bolder vision with and for our people, and a louder voice for digital inclusion. Let's not just talk about an inclusive Africa, let's build it urgently, intentionally, and together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dina, for your insights. Remember, the 3 pillars, very, very important. And the reason why I'm saying that, ladies and gentlemen, is because the next performance, is by a team of young people, Wanawaziri. Young people from across Africa, from across the continent, who've realized that there are challenges that they live with from time to time. But they're here to show us the opportunities in these challenges, just like Dina talked about. I bring to you the Faces of Africa, led by one Julius Mbura, who will be here to tell us why and invite them one by one. So Julius, kindly make your way. Let's give it up for the Faces of Africa team.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. That's what I'm talking about. I see you all look lovely. I don't know why you're laughing. But we are here, and what is Inclusive Africa without the Faces of Africa? And we are here to celebrate our diversities and what brings us together. Our disabilities do not define us. And as youth with disabilities, we are the future, and we are here to be heard and to be seen. So you can see on my behalf. Waziri, I see you, looking sharp. And my name is Julius Mbura. I'm the Advocacy Officer and Head of Computer Assistive Technology at NAIROBI, the organizer of Inclusive Africa Conference. And I welcome you all here. I'm a VIP squared. Yes, thank you. Thank you for clapping. I'm a VIP squared, visually impaired person, but also very important person. And for me, the way I'm dressed, I'm dressing in what I was told is black, three-piece suit, and a sky blue shirt. It might be different in color. I'm colorblind, so I can't tell. And I have a tie and a very beautiful tag saying my name. So you can read it. We look for braille ones, right? For the likes of me, Daktari Laibuta. Yes, so I'm sure you've seen persons with disabilities doing incredible work, innovation, bringing solutions. And this is because we believe in ourselves. And we are contributors of what we call progress and change. And I want to show you something. Bear with me. So in a moment, I want to capture your very beautiful smiles, okay? I don't know if I'm taking myself. Can you see yourself? Oh, okay. So I'll take this photo, and then so the reason why I can take the photo is because of assistive technology. For those who can hear, that's a screen reader. And okay, I don't want to go through all the shenanigans of posting, but I'll be posting in a short while using hashtag Inclusive Africa 2025. And I'll be looking forward to Waziri's comment. Yeah. And if I don't have accessibility, digital accessibility, I'll not be able to do that. I'll not be able to take that beautiful photo and post. I'll not be able to go through comments and update myself with the current affairs. If I go through a post and I hear my screen reader go silent, I know that that post is not inclusive. They don't have alternative text. They have not considered persons who are visually impaired, and that's how they even miss to actually advertise to people like me. So I'm welcoming you all, and this is not just my problem. It's a challenge to 15% of the African population. So we're talking about billions of people who miss out because of inaccessibility. I'm welcoming you all, and I'm looking forward to a particular session, Accessible Brand Communication, which will be happening tomorrow at 2 p.m. And before I go too long, I want to include, because we're Inclusive Africa, I want to include my fellow youth with disabilities to come on stage and show you what possibility looks like. I think, Teddy, you'll be my eyes. Do you have Alvarita? Yes. Alvarita, kindly make your way to the stage. Alvarita is a splendid artist, and she's come all the way. Oh, she's here. I'll let her introduce herself. Welcome.
My name is Alvarita Benedito Lukungo, and I'm representing the land of the brave, Namibia. Thank you. So they say music is what feelings sound like. An artist has great responsibility in that regard. Like I said, my name is Alvarita Benedito Lukungo, and I'm representing Namibia. I have congenital glaucoma and astigmas, and glaucoma is basically a condition that affects the eye's optical nerve, resulting in low vision. So I'm not completely blind. Additionally, for a description for my friends who are visually impaired, I have a big afro, a beige coat, navy blue slacks, and a black polo neck. Now, for assistive mobility, what I use is, of course, a white cane. And additionally, the struggles that I face as a Namibian with a disability is finding inclusive spaces for mental health support. Now, I say this because, like I mentioned, I'm a singer, songwriter, composer, counselor, and disability advocate. With that being said, whilst I look for inclusive spaces for persons living with disabilities for my clients, it also hits close to home because I myself am a person who has a disability. With that being said, I'm looking forward to a session that's taking place today at 3:30 to 4:30 p.m., and that is on mental wellness spaces with technology. Thank you.
Give it up for Alvarita, all the way from Namibia. And Namibia is very interesting. I've been told there is a desert that meets the ocean. I would want to see that or feel that. Next on stage, I'll call upon Palermo. Palermo, if you join us on stage. And as Alvarita has said, you know, I think for me, the worst thing than being blind is lacking vision. And that has been demonstrated over and over right here at Inclusive. Hello.
Hi, everybody. Oh, you're so warm. Thank you. My name is Pele Munyaju. I'm from the Giant of Africa, Nigeria. And I have a rare disease called fibrous dysplasia. So in a nutshell, fibrous dysplasia makes my bones weaker than normal. And so I use crutches for mobility. And without my crutches, I literally cannot walk. For the people who are visually impaired here, I'm wearing a very colorful turtleneck top, which looks like a sunset. And then my pants are gray. And they are like pants, but with a skirt, so it's stylish. I face a lot of struggles in my life regarding mobility and connecting with people. A lot of people randomly come to the street and ask me, what happened to your legs? And very random questions. And I'm sure that a lot of persons with disabilities here can relate to those questions. I realize that there's a disconnect between persons with disabilities and persons without disabilities. And that led me to create something called Movement Beyond Walls. So basically, we use play and the creative arts to bring persons with and without disabilities together in the same space. Because art and play creates connections, and I believe in soul. And like Tunde Onakoya would say, I believe that we can do great things from a small place, and we are all doing that through our own way in this conference, and this is my own way of doing it. I believe in advocacy for persons with disabilities, and I believe that your disability does not limit you. What limits you is the barriers. And so I'm a huge, I believe in the gospel of the social model of disability. Thank you.
That's Pelemo. Thank you very much. And as we continue, just remember, you know, embracing yourself and who you are is most important, because in this world, you can only love yourself, and that's how the world will take you. Next on stage, I have a man from Kenya who rolls with his own chair, and we call him Mr. Chairman. I'd like to call him on stage, or to call him to park here.
Thank you, Julius, and thank you, everybody. My name is Brian. Thank you. Yeah, but as you have heard, my friends call me Mr. Chairman, only because I am a man who sits on a chair. I am not a chairman of anything yet. So a visual description of myself, what I'm wearing, I am wearing a bluish gray sweater, blue jeans, and black shoes. Something distinctive about my appearance is that I am bald. I went bald very young, unfortunately. But yeah, and I have a small beard. So in case you want to come and feel my face, you can feel free to do that. So what next? So I am a content creator and training journalist. I am passionate about everything that is disability advocacy. And I also like watching documentaries and hanging out with friends, watching films. And this is my first time being here at the conference. So thank you so much for the organizers and seeing. This is the first time in my life for the 11 years that I've been in a wheelchair to be amidst so many people with disabilities, and it makes me feel quite at home. So thank you so much to the organizers. So, something that I use every day that really empowers me as a disabled person, even before I get there, I always forget to say that my disability is that I have a spinal cord injury that I acquired 11 years ago after a road accident, but 11 years has been enough time for me to feel comfortable in my skin and to feel my way around, and right now I feel more empowered than disabled. And yeah, that was just to tell you a bit about my disability. So something that I use every day that makes me feel empowered is the fact that I use a wheelchair, obviously. And I would like to emphasize in terms of inclusive and being inclusive is the fact that I use an appropriate wheelchair. Most of us wheelchair users often use wheelchairs that are not designed for us, and they end up doing more harm than good. So it is also very important for all the stakeholders here. When you are providing disabled people with wheelchairs, make sure that they are fitted for them, that they are appropriate for them, just to make sure that they are more comfortable. Something else is accessible travel. Our MC spoke about accessible vehicles and parking spots. That is something that I can relate very much to. Even as I was coming to the event today, I met the concierge out there, and they were able to assign accessible parking spots for me, and that was really helpful for me, and it is something that we should think about more often when we are designing. I also appreciate spaces that acknowledge our assistants and caregivers. If we have caregivers in the room, please lift your hands. I know there are a lot of us here, so thank you so much for being here. Caregivers mean a lot to me and to my peers, and they really uplift our experiences and make sure that we are well looked after. Something that I would want to see more in future is automatically opening doors. I've never seen such here in Kenya, but where they do exist, they make such a difference, especially for me. They make me feel so independent and make me go through rooms and buildings without having to require someone by my side. So as you are designing spaces in future, think about automatically opening doors for people like me. Just a push of a button and the doors just swing open and I can make my way in and out with ease. So yeah, that was my contribution. Thank you so much and have a wonderful time.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much. And we'll be having many other faces representing Africa tomorrow and Thursday. So
be able to assist. So right at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome on stage the Honorable Senator Isaac Mwaura, the government spokesperson of the Republic of Kenya. Karibu.
Good morning. How are you? Let's stand up, everybody who can. I know there are some people who may not. So let's stand up for a moment. We've been sitting for some time. Let's just stand up for a moment. Say hi to about 5 people. At least ask their name, where they come from, and what they do for a living, and whether they are single or married or available or whatever. Move around a little bit. We need to relax. We are here to network. Ukishindwa kuomba namba shauri yako. Ask which country they are coming from. Are they from Kenya or Namibia, Banduk? Thank you. We can take our seats now. The rest we can do during break time. Thank you. Let's be seated now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was a good icebreaker, isn't it? We feel now more closer, more connected, and more inclusive. The Cabinet Secretary for ICT and Creative Economy, the Honorable Governor William Kabogo, the Principal Secretary for Social Protection, my friend Joseph Mutari, Irene Barikirika, the founder and CEO of Enable Africa, Dr. Laibuta Imana Kibaya, who is a Court of Appeal judge, the first with disability, visually impaired, to be a judge of the Court of Appeal. The MasterCard Foundation, led by Partnerships Director, Dina, all protocols observed. Good morning. It gives me great pleasure to stand before you here today as someone who clearly understands the reason as to why we need to do more to ensure inclusion is a reality in Africa and beyond. I'm excited that Kenya is a leader when it comes to inclusive practices, having hosted the first Global Disability Summit in 2018 at Here East in London, together with the UK government. And recently, Kenya took commitment, led by P.S. Motari, to work hard to ensure that we have digital inclusion for all in Africa and beyond. Let's clap for ourselves for that. This country has been seen as a good model for inclusion because we have persons with disabilities in various sectors of our economy. If you look at Parliament, we have representation. If you look at the judiciary, you have representation. And we look at the executive, we have representation, starting with yours truly, the first person with disability to become the government spokesman of the Republic of Kenya. This inclusion is buttressed by the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which mentions person with disability 18 times. In fact and indeed, that became a panacea for our inclusion. Just recently, His Excellency President William Ruto assented to the Persons with Disabilities Bill, now an Act 2025, that among other things, ensures that the international customary law, specifically the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, is now domesticated as a municipal law. Further, the Act provides for digital inclusion and ensuring that persons with disabilities participate on an equal basis with others to exercise their rights with regards to such endeavors as elections, where for the first time, persons with disabilities have a right to get a secret ballot to choose who is going to be their leader. Now, when I look at the cover of our program today, I see a person with vitiligo. And you know, vitiligo and albinism are closely related because they are in the category of hyperpigmentation. And that reminds me of my own journey when I joined politics and I was a member of a particular political party, and I could see people were fearing shaking my hand because they thought that if I greet them, they will also become a person with albinism. In fact, I could see them secretly wiping off their hand as if it is contagious. I know that is the challenge of those with vitiligo, but not just those with vitiligo. That feeling of those with disabilities that they are unwanted, that they are not good enough, is something that we must continuously challenge so that we overcome the greatest barrier of disability, which is attitude that is resident in the minds of many people. And that is why I believe that when we talk about enable, inclusion, we cannot move forward if we do not also occupy the digital space. This conference is timely because it is giving us an impetus to also make our experiences count when it comes to matters artificial intelligence. It has made things easy because even when I'm speaking here, if you don't have a sign language interpreter, already you can see the subtitles word for word. When we were at the briefing room, my friend Julius was telling us about the Transcribe Live app that is helping many deaf people to be more independent and to reduce the intermediation, indeed the interlocution, that may come with the help of a Kenya Sign Language interpreter to live more independently and express themselves. That is a future that we must all pursue. And so therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we are assembled here today to look into pathways that we are going to use to ensure that whatever we are speaking become a reality. It starts with demonstration of the capability of what we are able to do. My friend Bura here, Julius, is a very good car reviewer, yet he's visually impaired. When I look at my friend Ashura, now working for the UN as the first deaf woman to be employed in the UN, it tells us that the horizon is just the beginning. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. And if we are left behind, it means that then we will be lagging. But when we take the advantage of AI, which no country really has leverage, when we take advantage of the AI, which is a summation of the human experience, then we will be able to leapfrog ourselves out of marginalization and far into the future. I am very encouraged to see my brother, who's just spoken here as a face of Africa, that he is a content creator. Indeed, the challenge of our day-to-day work in my office is to create content that is consumable to many an audience away from the traditional. So I would want to work with you in a program that we are establishing called Inclusive Communication and Development, so that we develop guidelines that will ensure the whole of government has persons with disabilities at the center of their inclusive journey and mandate. It is also true that we had made progress forward when we had the person's disability mainstreaming indicator in the performance contract. I am happy to report to you that His Excellency President William Ruto has ordered that that indicator be taken back into the performance contract, so that we can have as many persons with disabilities employed, so that we can have environments modified for accessibility, so that we can have persons with disability enjoy their dignity, human rights, and fundamental freedom. It is also a pursuit that I'm working with under the head of public service to ensure that we have a communication indicator that will also ensure that there is a sub-indicator of inclusive communication so that all government communication can be disability-friendly and inclusive. Join me in that journey so that we make sure that persons with disabilities get to know when jobs are advertised, when tenders are put in websites, and when they just need to know information, because information is power, and power is knowledge. I want to say that when we are congregated here today, we are better than one. That each and every person's experience adds to the whole. We need to ask ourselves the fundamental question. As we embrace technology, does that same technology cause further disability? That is a question we need to answer. Because every time I use my smartphone, I tend to imagine I'm becoming more and more blind. How do we mitigate that? How do we make sure that what is enabling us does not cause further impairment? And I know from the list of speakers and very good program here, Irene, that you have, we have people who are in the front line of ensuring that that is really taken care of. The other thing that also we must consider as we talk about digitization and inclusive communication, I even see there's a session about inclusive climate communication, and my office will participate robustly on that, and also how to come up with standards for Africa. Two things come in mind. Number one, how do we make sure that the cyberspace does not use disability to bully and to silence those with various forms of impairment? Because you'll agree with me, the more we get into that space and the facelessness that come with it, the more we have aggressors and bullies who want to pin us down on the basis of disability. I have been a victim myself. In fact, wanasemanga wewe tumekuachia jua. Na mimi wakisema waniachia jua, nawaambia niko na kofia, niko na mewani, na niko na sunscreen. Na ikiwaka sana nitaweka mwavuli. We must confront stereotypes and prejudices that may be codified in the AI intelligence knowledge so that they do not become perpetuated. I must commend Elon Musk, because they have started something called Grok that is very useful nowadays in dealing with the challenge of misinformation and disinformation. I would want to encourage the Meta Group, I know the Vice President of Facebook may be here, that you look at that so that we do away with this issue of bullying and cyber attacks that may be affecting persons with disabilities in silence. The other thing that I also want to address is the fact that for the first time in a long time, we are having a leadership of C.S. William Kabogo in coming up with a communication policy and strategy for the government. Now, there is a technical working committee led by Professor Machuki that is receiving memoranda from the public to ensure that there is effective public participation. I urge upon us, led by Enable and other actors, that we take advantage of that and make sure that our communication is inclusive as per the provision of the policy. So, ladies and gentlemen, mine is not to speak much, it's to welcome you here to Kenya. Enjoy yourself, feel nyumbani, and be inclusive as possible, because we are one. Because Africa is not going to be changed by elections. Africa is not going to be changed by rhetoric. Africa is going to be changed by small people doing their part of change in places that may not be recognized. But those parts of change will one day light up in a moment of ubiquitous transformation. I thank you. With those many and few remarks, it's now my pleasure to invite the Principal Secretary for Social Protection, Mr. Joseph Mutari, to come and address us, and then he will invite the minister. Let's clap for him. No. Let me teach you. There's a way we clap here in Kenya. Kenyans, I'm sure you are the majority in the room. Tunasema moja, mbili, tatu, funga, fungua, funguka.
Thank you so much, Waziri. But the spokesperson is doing what we should do for our minister, not for me. Honorable William Kabogo, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of ICT and Digital Economy. Honorable Isaac Maura, Government Spokesperson. Irene Barry, Executive Director, Enable. Honorable Dr. Justice Laibuta, Judge of the Court of Appeal of Kenya. Dina Randianasolo, Director, Strategic Partnership and Innovation, MasterCard Foundation. Esteemed stakeholders, partners, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, let us be happy. We are in Kenya. It is a great honor to join you today at the opening session of this year's Inclusive Africa Conference. This gathering embodies the spirit of innovation, collaboration, and above all, human dignity. Let me begin by expressing my heartfelt appreciation to Enable, along with all the sponsors and partners who have made this essential gathering possible. You have brought us together to focus on one of the most crucial enablers of disability inclusion in today's world, digital inclusion. I wish to reaffirm our unwavering commitment to the cause of disability inclusion and, more importantly, digital inclusion. My State Department is mandated to lead the nation in developing and implementing policies and programs that safeguard the rights and welfare of vulnerable groups, including persons with disabilities. Our role extends beyond protection. It is an empowerment opportunity and creating a society where every individual can thrive. Waziri, we had Our Excellency the President assenting an act of persons with disability. And I'm sure this is going to be a game changer where all that has been spoken here will be a thing of the past. It talks all about that we have seen here, what the youth have discussed here, and what they have showcased us. We should be able to implement all as we roll out the implementation of this act. I'm personally inspired by the impact of Enable's work with 8 digital centers across the country, providing youth with disabilities with access to digital skills, tools, and opportunities. This is not just a program, but it serves as a blueprint for what can be achieved when we synchronize our efforts. In terms of our programs and other initiatives that target persons with disabilities, the government of Kenya is implementing a range of programs and initiatives to address systemic inequalities, promote equal opportunities, and create a more inclusive and a fair society. We are implementing vocational training programs through various vocational rehabilitation centers. Currently, there are 12 VRCs spread across the country. We have also established 243 community-based rehabilitation subcommittees at sub-county level, with membership from persons with disabilities drawn from the community. The subcommittees were established to create awareness on disability issues and promote inherent respect. The Persons with Disabilities Cash Transfer Program, which was launched in the year 2011, is one of the national cash transfer schemes within the tax-financed Inua Jamii program. It is implemented together with the Older Persons Cash Transfer and the cash transfer for orphans and vulnerable children. The program has grown over the years from initially targeting 2,100 beneficiaries from the then 210 constituencies to 31,000 in 2023, and we have since then doubled the number of beneficiaries to over 61,000. Waziri, we intend to do 100,000 by the end of this financial year, and then we continue also enabling our people with disabilities in that direction, because cash is what most of us need, and therefore we must make sure that our people who are not very able, who are vulnerable, we can give them that stipend to make sure that at least they are able to assist or to thrive with the kind of economy that we have. Our collective commitment to digital inclusion is firmly grounded in national policy. The recently launched Kenya National Artificial Intelligence Strategy 2025 to 2030 is a landmark document that prioritizes inclusive digital infrastructure and AI implications to enhance accessibility. It explicitly emphasizes the inclusion of persons with disabilities across multiple pillars, from ethics and equity to capacity building and stakeholder engagement. In last year, Waziri, His Excellency the President William Ruto signed into law the Persons with Disabilities Act 2025. This promised a new dawn for the advancement of the rights of the persons with disabilities, upholding their dignity and offering tax reliefs to them and their caregivers. The Act promotes inclusive of persons with disabilities, enhance accessibility to services and assistive devices to promote their livelihoods. Waziri, as I conclude my remarks, I wish you all fruitful deliberations at this conference. May our discussions lead to actions. May our partnerships grow stronger, and may this conference lay the foundation for an inclusive digital future where no one is not left behind. I thank you, and God bless you, and God bless Kenya. I now take this opportunity to welcome our chief guest, the Honorable CS William Kabogo, to address us. Please, let us do what Bwana Mwaura did. We do it like this, okay? We do it like our style. 1, Bili, Karibu, Waziri, ongea na watu. Karibu Waziri. Thank you.
Asante. Asante sana, PS. The organizers of this great conference, Irene, thank you very much indeed for inviting me, although a little late. I was invited, I think, on the 29th, which is a couple of days ago. And I'm here, not because I didn't have anything to do, but because I value this very much, very close to my heart. Lordship Judge Laibota, Mwaura, the government spokesman, Dina, in short, our PS, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Indeed, if I was to say nothing and just say one or two things, I would say, as I sit at the helm of the docket of ICT and digital economy, I shall work as hard as possible to make sure that this space is inclusive for all and all and all. That includes persons living with disability. Maura, you remember, Isaac, that when I was governor of Kiambu, I managed to keep the trophy for inclusivity for 4 consecutive years. I want to make sure that for the time I'm in the docket, we shall improve this space and make it available because it's a constitutional right for all persons, able and unable, one way or the other, to access digital platforms and be able to live comfortably even if we are different in different ways. Allow me to go through a small write-up about what it is that some people wrote for me. I always do a disclaimer that sometimes what we read is not exactly what we have written. But we are privileged to have people to work with and help us write. So whatever you feel is good, that is me. Whatever else you do not like, it is not me, and I shall show you who it is because they are in the room. So it gives me immense pride and great pleasure to join you today at the opening of the 6th Inclusive Africa Conference in the heart of Nairobi. So karibu sana, those who are visitors from outside Kenya. We love you, we welcome you here. Kenya hakuna matata, meaning no problems. Since its inception in 2020, this annual gathering has become the leading platform for shaping the conversation around digital accessibility and assistive technology in Africa. Today, we are not just talking about technology, but also the people whose lives have been empowered and those who have dedicated their work to ensuring that no African is left behind in the digital revolution. Remember, there was a lady who I think was the first performer here, was telling us about her life, Paralympic competitor, and now a trainer. And she was saying her best friend is GP Chat and the other platforms. I can tell you, my dear, you are not alone. This is where we all are. That's why you find we all look equally clever. Because these days, or equally the other way, because these days we just rely on AI. So AI is good and we should make use of it, adapt to it where it can help, and also avoid issues that Senator Maura was talking about in terms of misinformation and disinformation. Let me begin by extending my heartfelt appreciation to Enable for its enduring commitment to this cause. Remarkably, you have established 8 digital centers to benefit persons with disabilities, training over 3,000 young people with disabilities and logging over 15,000 training hours. Beyond digital access, you have nurtured confidence, innovation, and digital among youth who deserve nothing less than our highest support. I'm particularly looking forward to visiting one of the centers, actually Thika School for the Blind, a school I have supported. I was once the MP in Thika Jujarero, and I truly supported that school, and I will continue to do so as long as I have the energy to get to Thika School for the Blind. Ladies and gentlemen, technology is a great equalizer, but only when it is truly accessible. Kenya is proud to be one of the most digitized nations on the continent. Today, over 20,000 government services are accessible online, and all government payments are processed digitally, offering citizens the convenience of accessing public service
from their homes. Irene has mentioned to me that most of these services are not well accessible to persons living with a disability. And like I said in my opening remark, that I shall make sure that we open up this space so that we can all equally enjoy digital services from government. Under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, we have made bold commitments under the digital superhighway and creative economy pillar. We are laying down 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable, setting up digital centers in institutions of higher learning, connecting primary and secondary schools, and building public infrastructure across the nation. Our aim is not just connectivity, but creating meaningful digital opportunities for every Kenyan. Our target is to ensure 20 million Kenyans are digitally literate by 2027. However, these figures are only significant if they encompass every Kenyan, including those who are blind, deaf, or experiencing mobility, cognitive, or learning disabilities. That is why initiatives like the Inclusive Africa Conference become essential. Your work ensures that digital transformation is not a privilege, but a right. Ladies and gentlemen, now, one of the most exciting developments in our digital journey is artificial intelligence. Earlier this year, in the month of March, we launched the Kenya Artificial Intelligence Strategy 2025-2030. The strategy aligns with the Emerging Africa AI strategy, which seeks to unlock AI's inclusive, ethical, and transformative power for all Africans. In both documents, digital inclusion is not an afterthought. It's in the foundation. The Kenya AI strategy is a call to action and a commitment to building a digital future that serves all our people. Our strategy includes 4 key pillars that directly impact persons with disabilities. 1 is inclusive AI development. 2 is accessible digital infrastructure. 3rd is skills and capacity development. And finally, collaboration and stakeholder engagements. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Inclusive Africa Conference is a reminder that when we talk about innovation, we should also talk about justice, progress, and access. When we celebrate digital disruption, we should also demand digital dignity. As a ministry, we are open and committed to partnerships. We believe the transformation we seek will be realized only through collaboration with innovators, global tech companies, organizations like MasterCard, and most importantly, organizations of people living with disabilities. With the enactment of the Persons with Disabilities Act 2025, we now have the legislative foundation to back our efforts. We will work with you to ensure these gains are realized, not in theory, but in practice, in every home, classroom, office, and online space in the Republic. I therefore invite you all to work with us as we make Kenya a more nation for digital inclusion in Africa. Let us create a future where everyone can learn, thrive, and lead, supported by accessible technology and sustained by inclusive policies. It is now my distinct honor and privilege to declare the 6th Inclusive Africa Conference 2025 officially open. I also want to wish you a fruitful discussions over the course of this 3 days conference, and I eagerly await your updates on the tangible outcomes of this event. Thank you indeed. Easy.